So this is one I saw the other day, and it's well, this one stands out for me. Amazon buying MGM.
That's huge,
isn't
that
it?
Is massive.
That is a huge piece of
Fair
news.
play.
And I just don't feel you'd be allowed to do that here, would you? I mean, like the Competition Commission would be diving in immediately on that but I mean, in the war against Netflix and Hulu and all of the other, players in that area, Sky, YouTube as well. Obviously, Google are ramping up in that area too. That is a feather in the hat, in the cap for Amazon, isn't it? Being able to secure MGM for the back catalog alone, and being able to have all of that exclusively on Amazon Prime Video is where they're going to be going. And actually, realistically, these days for Amazon, $8.4 billion feels like a bit of a drop in the hat in the ocean. Drop in the hat, drop in the ocean. That's incredible, isn't it, really?
4,000 film titles, 17,000 hours of TV programming. Gone with the Wind, The Hobbit. There's going to be some bangers on there. It's interesting because obviously Netflix have gone down the route of producing their own stuff, original. Same with Apple
and Amazon as well.
I was going to ask, so what have Amazon done though?
Yeah, what have Amazon ever done? No, they did. I think probably one of the biggest ones they did was The Man in the High Castle.
Oh yeah, and also they did Top Gear, didn't they? All the new Top Gear.
Yeah, what's that called?
Fair enough.
Grand Tour. Never
Grand
watched
Tour.
any of it.
Yeah, it's all right.
I dislike Jeremy Clarkson with a passion.
Many people do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it seems to either be you hate him or you want him to be prime minister. It's one of the two.
What?
Have you not seen that?
I think no.
I think it was trending on Twitter years ago. People were like, Clarkson for prime minister. Can you imagine how bad that would be? That would just be awful, wouldn't it?
I mean, he would be like the Trump of the UK, just obnoxious and.
But more so than Johnson.
He isn't that obnoxious. He's just a bumbling fool.
Oh, I don't know. I think his bumbling sort of leads to obnoxiousness, if you know what I mean. But anyway, we digress. Let's not talk about politics.
This is not politics.
Let's talk about not talk about politics. It's all bollocks anyway. So that's the only. That's the closest we're going to get to swearing on this show, I think.
Yeah. Well, anyway, MGM. I look forward to that. It would be interesting to see if anyone kind of follows suit with buying out these movie studios or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like we have had something along those sort of lines before. Fox was acquired. That's it. Fox, 20th Century Fox was acquired by Disney, wasn't it? And so obviously that's bringing all of the Star Wars and all those sort of things under one banner. So I think Disney Plus, Disney, that with the Disney Plus catalog, they're the ones that are throwing their hat into the ring. I'm using a lot of hat analogies today, but they're throwing their hat into the ring to try and gather that bulk of content, which again is something we were talking to Ben Lavender about on the BBC iPlayer episode. You've got a whole load of these studios are really trying to make a big play for things now. It's very different from where we were, I guess, 10 years ago when there was lots of Netflix was obviously a smaller independent company. You've got Love Film at the time as well. Now we're talking Netflix, which has grown into being this monster. Amazon, which again has grown into being a monster. Disney, which has always been a monster. It's big players in the game at this point. It'd be interesting to see where things go. But MGM, they were clearly not going to make their own play for this sort of stuff. And I think it's interesting that the other people that were after MGM is Apple, Sky, Sky owner Comcast. So you've got Apple and Comcast, and those are the people trying to go after this. I think it is going to be really curious to see what happens with, what happens to these old film studios, which have been such monsters themselves in the past that are sort of dying a death, but still have this ability to churn out great content. and have this huge back catalogue. I think it'll be really interesting to see how that develops over the next few years, because this is, all of that content going back from 1924. You're talking about bangers before. Those bangers include The Wizard of Oz and Ben-Hur and Raging Bull and Basic Instinct and Silence of the Lambs. It's incredible. It's a huge number of things. All that James Bond content as well.
I wonder what's going to happen around the kind of future production side of things, because I think Amazon are essentially buying their back catalogue. Is that MGM just holding their hands up and admitting defeat when it comes to the future of cinema? And is Amazon going to carry that torch of MGM production film, or is it just are these things just going to be they're just going to continue as they were going, but now they've just got a huge back catalogue?
I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens, because, Amazon Studios, that's not a particularly strong brand, I don't think. So, I think it would be mental, surely, for Amazon to buy MGM and not continue with that brand, surely.
Let's see.
It's just going to be that traditional Metro Goldwyn Mayer logo that we see with a lion in the center, and then it'll just have a smile tick underneath it.
Yeah.
An Amazon, MGM, an Amazon company. That's what we'll have, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There'll be something along those lines. But it would seem crazy for me if they got rid of that brand, because that's as you just asked, what have Amazon ever produced? And they've produced some good content, but it's not. It's not what we know Netflix with like Netflix. Netflix have got I've knocked out some really good content out, haven't they? So they're also some guff as well, it's fair to say.
but I think part of the reason why we don't know what Amazon have produced is just because their market share on the streaming, with streaming, like, dare I say that Amazon is probably one of the not losers by any stretch of imagination, but one of the least preferred offerings. I don't know.
That's interesting that you'd think that.
Yeah, exactly. And I that could just be a personal thing that I don't. I have Prime. I have Prime Video, but it's just not made a start. Like, people don't say, "Oh." Well, actually, my friendship circle don't necessarily say, "Oh, yeah, it's on Amazon Prime," or whatever. It's just, it doesn't feel like it's one of the leaders. But with something like this, could actually push them into the spotlight and actually bring light to some of their good shows.
I think that's really interesting that you'd have that perspective, because we always have Amazon as a constant, but bear in mind I worked there, so it's. I know what you mean. Netflix has become a part of it's become part of the the lexicon.
Buttons.
Well, yeah, they've got. The button, that was a smart move. But also, they've got the whole Netflix and chill thing. It is part of the lexicon. So it's and I think Apple almost rule themselves out by being pretty much exclusive to their own hardware. Disney Plus, I think, is, people seem to be loving Disney Plus. Amazon just seems like a bit of a stable constant. Like, they're not knocking anything out of the park necessarily, but they have all of the content. Everything is on there pretty much. It's just that for a lot of it, you have to purchase it. So I think Netflix is easier, isn't it? Because once you're in that ecosystem, you just buy stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting you have that perspective, though.
Yeah, I know. I just, maybe it could be a number of things. It could just be, timing or whatever. But I just think Amazon just do so much. They're part of so many things that, potentially they don't stand out in any one particular thing. Well, they probably do on their shopping, but that's, whereas Netflix just do films and TV, that's just Disney Plus just do films and TV. Well, they do merchandise as well, I guess. But
no, I know what you mean, though. That is what they're known for. Whereas Amazon, as you say, is known for shopping. If you're going to go and buy, it's the everything store, isn't it? You go there for buying, stuff. Really,
toothpicks.
What?
You might buy toothpicks from them.
You might. I don't know if. I don't know if they're available on Amazon. Have you looked? Are you saying this from experience?
The everything store. Well, actually, yeah, I'm saying from experience. Interdental flossers, flossing brushes. That's what I got from Amazon.
Oh, that's not a toothpick, though, is it? That's an incidental brush.
I guess it's one step away.
Okay. I do like myself a good incidental brush. Anyway.
Quote of the show.
Yeah, there we go. That's the title for the episode.
Yeah.